kings and queens, stepping clean as a whistle when we be on the scene. Been adjusting our crown, can you see what we mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We are the kings and queens, stepping clean as a whistle when we be on the scene. You all see? Been adjusting our crown, can you see what we mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm really trying to be there for my people. Unified, be there for the sequel. You and I speak, I hope I reach you. We the vibe, QOC gon' teach you. My peoples, are you with me? Where you at? So much going on in the world, we just have to face the facts. I've been making marks in the world, so you know I can't relax. Gotta get it, got it till it's good, then be able to run it back. Hold up, we are the kings and queens, stepping clean as a whistle when we be on the scene. Been adjusting our crown, can you see what we mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We are the kings and queens, stepping clean as a whistle when we be on the scene. Been adjusting our crown, can you see what we mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No.
Oh, I got my faith in the Lord. Boy, boots it. I see one more fucking fan. Just one more. Church fan, circular fan, ceiling fan. If I see one more fan in a pair of boots, I'ma scream. We done went too fucking far.
I'm late. I'm late to the party with that.
You're late to the party.
I didn't understand it. I just heard it on the radio.
My faith in the Lord. We done took boots in the ground and turned into my faith in the Lord. It's been cool except Bomb was on there twerking. Yeah, that's one of my favorite characters. If I want to laugh for the day, I go on there because I know her and First Lady gonna cut up and get me through the day on TikTok. It is what it is, y'all. Y'all know what it is. It is seriously, I'm seriously serious. I fucks up that name.
All the time. And I keep asking her, do we need to change it? Do we want to change it? Is it unseriously serious? Seriously unserious?
What is the real name? Because now you really done confused.
Seriously unserious.
That show. Y'all charge which one? See, I'm tired. This network thing, baby, is no joke. We are really, really rolling on films, but y'all know this is movie review time. We have been doing some real dark and dramatic movies for the past 3 months. We did 666 by Tyler Perry. We did Divorce in Black. Man, them numbers was going crazy.
Even the name of the movie, it
is the Divorce in Black.
Triple Divorce in Black. Yeah. Triple.
See, yeah.
I don't think it was called that. But anyway,
it is.
Is Tyler it the 666?
Yeah.
She's always switching the words around. Okay, we know. We try to lighten up the mood by offering a different take on some of our reviews, and we wanted to get somebody in here who had rom-com, and honestly, this movie's been out for a little while because it started out on Amazon Prime. I'm a big fan of the movie, big fan of the film director, and we've been trying to get him to fit in his schedule or our schedule with the pre-recordings, and we finally lined up and the stars have aligned. And we have with us Abdul Sesay, the filmmaker for the movie.
And he's not in Texas, y'all.
He's not in Texas. He's
not in Texas.
LA.
Yes, I'm right outside of LA. I'm Lancaster, like I'm about an hour north of LA. Yeah.
You can't say Lancaster. That's
that's where I say Lancaster.
Oh, no, I'm representing Lancaster. It's hot, but I'm representing it.
I stay in Lancaster, Texas, and I'm sitting here looking like he said, "What?"
Right, you can't say certain words to folks down here in Texas because it doesn't mean the same.
And he said it the proper way, which is Lancaster. But if
we say Lancaster,
we say Lancaster. When
I never I don't say that. They say that, and I was like, "Ain't that Lancaster?" They talking about some Lancaster.
Don't try to correct us on where we stay on our hood.
Lancaster. You got it.
That part. But he is from Cali, y'all. We giving y'all a sample. We have told y'all that we are not limiting ourselves to DFW filmmakers. There's no shade against that because I've worked with a lot of them. I've been in a lot of movies as well as J. Marie, and we have worked on production sets. So we kind of have a sense of how this goes. Shout out to Justin Rose for King of Dallas that gave us that first blow up with King of Dallas, giving us something different. And I want to go ahead and give my shout out real quick to Miss Kitty Jones. That was a bank red carpet experience that we hosted for her movie that's headed to the road to the Oscars. I'm so glad we were able to be a part of that and to give you that experience and give you what the Queens is about. Because baby, we voted #1 down here. I don't know what y'all doing over there, but they say big things popping, big things popping.
Ain't nothing stopping this way. Yes. Okay, that might have been the wrong song. I was thinking of another song. Go ahead.
Okay.
Little, it wasn't okay. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, you sleep. You sleep.
Moving on.
The pushover. That's what we
let's
tonight.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I'm looking at this cover, and I'm gonna tell you.
Whoa, listen. This cover is clean.
It's a trick. It's a trick, though, because I got to stop trying to put all movies into a box.
Yeah.
So I saw the one with the blonde braids. I said, "Oh shit, this gonna be something crazy. Somebody could be killing, selling drugs, or doing something."
It doesn't look like that.
Yes, with the name. That's right.
Wow.
I was already mentally prepared for that kind of setup, but she
didn't see the notes. She didn't see the notes, Abdul. She didn't see all the notes yet.
Nobody told me that this was going to be totally against of what we typically see, in which I love. Let me go there. I love for us as Black people to come together to do movies that are positive, where you could share them with your family, your kids, your teenagers, and you don't have to worry about, oh, I got to mute this scene, I got to fast forward this scene, I got to rewind this scene. I'm gonna be honest, was no sex, no drugs in there, so y'all don't look at the cover and be like,
but it is still adult concepts that I think it's not necessarily not family friendly, but it's like you bring your teenagers to it, like 16 and up, I would say, because that's a safe range. I wouldn't say family friendly, like don't bring the little kids,
right?
Because no,
it's a social experiment, really. That's really what it
I
is.
told Jay that. Because I'm looking, and I'm telling you, I had stretched out on the couch this morning. Maybe I'm not supposed to say too much because I'm supposed to be working. But put it on.
Wait, that's like really?
Yeah, TMI. And I'm like, oh, let's get into it.
Right.
And of course, they got all the ads going. So at the beginning of the movie, we're not gonna talk too much. We're gonna play this trailer, and then we're gonna come back because the movie tricked me. The beginning of it, I said, "Oh, he done cheated. He done did some shit. Like, come on, girl."
He finished. She's like, "Get out."
You know, we
screaming
black power. We screaming black power, but this black woman liberation, independence, girl. We don't need no man, girl. We got
it. Right.
That's why I'm like, go Taisha. You paying the bills and you, girl,
and you doing this
right?
The whole time, she was on something else.
Demon time. What she was on. She was on demon time. We can play this trailer so y'all can see what we saw when we watched and try to describe what we watched and what we saw. He definitely did something with this that can be used. And to our therapist, Damani, we have an in-house therapist that's going to brand out and do his own segment under here. To Conrad that we collaborated with out of Canada that's coming over to do a men's segment. And to Coach Chris, that's our life coach on the team as well. This is definitely one that can be dissected and used.
Womanhood for sure. Womanhood, that'll call us to be accountable for our bullshit. That movie would call us out on our bullshit.
She just really would. I was like, wow. Damn. I'm just don't understand why Mike. Anyway, here come the trailer, y'all. We're not gonna do this fight on here. What did she do?
Taking a quick glance. Casanova over here stares at her with his mouth wide open.
Yo, what you did, yo?
Taisha cocks back and slaps the shit out this nigga, man.
No, yo. How? I know my man did something, right? I bet he didn't do a damn thing either.
I don't know why he picked that scene when he should have picked the pickle scene, because that was the.
Was that the right one? I thought we had. Okay.
So let me take y'all to Storyland real quick before Mr. Abdul comes on here, because y'all know I have to do my hood recap of the movie. It starts out with Taisha, which you know is our sister, and the brother Mike with the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. Let's go there.
Wow. Okay.
Baby, Abdul baits us in with this beginning scene of Taisha packing and saying, "Hey, you know what? I've been paying all the bills. You ain't been working. You keep saying you're going to get a job. You ain't never got a job, blah, blah, blah." Come to find on down the line, you know, the boy just had got laid off a month. Like, damn, sis, the economy bad. Right. You know who in office? Like, let them at least collect a couple of unemployment checks. We're going to move forward a little bit. And it paints her in this good picture. Like, okay, sis, because I'm already rooting for her, because you know how these Texas men down here. So I'm like, shit, girl, do what you got to do, because we not doing it in 25. We not doing that. And Abdul then breaks this movie down. The people start popping on the screen, and you like, wait a minute, what? Oh, okay. And it continues to bait you in to the different perceptions and opinions of the situation of the movie. It's really a teachable movie. It really is. And we're gonna get into Taisha, but I was really, really blown away at how, and I kept asking Jay, I said, that's not a rom-com though. Like, I wouldn't label it that.
Yeah, this is a dramedy. It's a dramedy.
Yeah, it's so much more than that though. It's really so much more than that, because the way you packaged it, that's how we do our panel style discussions on the QOC. So I'm like, okay, well, damn. It's like you can market this so many different ways, which was really, really cool and dope. But I was rooting for Taisha until the truth come out that our girl is a She a little hoe. She got some issues.
She had the F buddy.
Baby, he was fine too.
And then first of all, Mike was in the.
Did you see the slap though, sis? She gave him a Rick James slap. Like,
I'm talking about all the way back from around her head to.
Man.
Yeah.
She breaks this movie down where he has, and this is another good thing I like, and that's why I wanted to talk about it too on the show. Mm-hmm. He had positive friends that called him out on his bullshit.
Yeah.
They said, "Hey,
and even the ones that was on bullshit, you thought about it like, yeah, in a different world that would work though. In a different world that would work."
But like, how many movies have we watched though? Where when you call your homeboy, the first thing he'd be like, "Man, forget that B. We finna go out here and bag some more." He didn't do that. His homeboy was like, "Hey, we finna come over here. We finna eat pizza." He didn't say nothing about strippers gonna be here. None of that. And we see so much negative. The way he put this around positive, where his friends poured into him and held him accountable. Because see, if this kind of thing would have happened in Tyler Perry's Divorce in the Black, maybe Dallas crazy ass.
Listen
to that end, but he did a real positive spin on this, and his brother like, "Hey, I know you're gonna hate me. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say." And they bring up Abdul tells this story through the homeboys of different incidents, and then the panel comes behind them and say, "Okay, so do you think he's a pushover? Do you think he's wrong? Do you think this? Do you think that?" Mike had some issues because Mike didn't want to be lonely. I'm gonna say that. But that damn Taisha, I'm from the hood. She would have got beat up. She would have got beat the fuck up.
Listen,
the fuck buddy that took me when she ran and jumped on him.
And wait a minute though. But wait a minute, because I remember messaging you, Abdul. Remember when I said, "Oh, this reminds me of Jonathan Majors."
Yeah.
Because it was the movie. Well, I forgot. Okay, when did the movie actually?
Yeah. So the movie, we actually brought it out like in April of 2024. But again, I mean, that scene had been written. I wrote this in 2011. So all the stuff that before I initially wrote it, it was even worse. It's like I had her legs wrapped around him. and he was spinning her with her legs wrapped around. But my man, who was a DP on the project, my man Darren C. Murray, he basically was like, "Yo, that's a little bit too much. That's too extra. Do you think that's really gonna happen? Do you think that would really happen?"
Hell no.
But then you see the Jonathan Majors joint, and then right. So
this shit really will happen. It really happens.
It happens.
She was bold. I will say that. I would say he was a pushover. It teaches. Okay, so this movie taught me. Well, the lessons that I got out of it was accountability, dealing with your own self. Because if you don't love yourself and you think you're not worthy of the love that you should be reciprocating and receiving, you will stay in situation. And Mike clearly said, he said, maybe I should have did ABC. Maybe I should have bought her the shoes. Nah, bro. She was gonna do that.
Do what she gonna do.
And that was before we even knew about the fuck buddy. That was before we knew. Like, she came in the kitchen with lingerie making a sandwich. Man, the police would have been in my house. Like, what the hell are you doing? You're not that damn hungry, heifer. Get your ass up here.
You know what?
It's certain shit you just don't do, but it's true facts. That shit happens. I've seen it
for sure. For sure.
That was the straw with me though. The fuck buddy took me out. I was just like, okay, but you taught so many lessons in there about having to heal, and then at the end realizing, because he twists it up at the end and shows a different scenario of him actually standing up for himself and saying, "Hey," putting his foot down. And we have to do that in life. Yeah, and it just made me self-aware that, hey, Egypt, you need to keep your boundaries up. You need to be aware of what you're putting out, what you're dealing with, and you don't have to deal with certain things to receive love. You could tell he had issues, and that's okay. That's okay. And Yeah. Pushover. I do. Would you call him a pushover, Jay, or just like him?
Absolutely. No,
okay,
absolutely.
No, listen at the term though. Pushover, or just somebody that needs to deal with some trauma and some issues.
No, he's a pushover, but I mean that's a pushover regardless of how you split it. Now, can you get better from it? Because why are you a pushover? A lot of times it is because you don't respect your own boundaries, you don't enforce them or respect other people's boundaries, maybe even. So now they don't respect yours. So now you've got this whole situation of you're letting stuff happen to you, you're not saying anything about it. So now you've created this pattern of disrespect that you're allowing. So that causes you to be a pushover over time, though. Now, I'm not saying you can't be compromising.
Mike should have did some more stuff. He only did the one thing. He only looked at I'm like, Abdul, like, come on now, even the snow out. Like, even it out. Poor Mike didn't do nothing but look at one girl. And hell, I look at some of the women that walk past me like, damn, sis, you bad. I mean, like, in 25, we're doing that.
Right.
But he didn't do one thing.
But that wasn't why they broke up. I think he was. Well, I'll say this. I like the way that you break the story down, where you tell different scenarios.
Buddy. Shit.
Well, and then the thing is, like, you break down so many different elements of the story, so it's not just like telling somebody about themselves, like, bro, you don't have no boundaries with none of these bitches. You just da. It's like now we're going into the different scenarios. So as the movie watcher, we see it and we're like, oh yeah, he was tripping. Oh, bro, was this da, or she was tripping or whatever. So now this movie to me will forever be a conversation piece. I mean, it's brilliant. It will forever be a conversation piece because every platform that deals with relationships could use that.
Yeah,
thank you. Literally. Thank you. Yeah, and that was the whole purpose of the film, right? Because it's a dramedy / documentary, so it was really about like let's have an open discussion, open dialogue about how we set up boundaries, in relationships. Because really, the issue is not that Mike is necessarily a pushover per se. It's about when he decided to set his boundaries, right? And then once he set his boundaries, then you can see that he was no longer a pushover. But it's just one of those scenarios where you just had to. It's just with everyone, right? Like, not everyone, but even at one point in our lives, right? You get in a relationship and you might really like somebody, and you might like that person more than they like you, right? And then you might let them get away with certain things. I mean, now that we're older, mature, it might be different, but I'm just talking about when we were younger, right. And there were certain things that you didn't like that they were doing to you, or even the way they spoke to you, whatever the case may be, where you might have let it slide because you just like them a lot, And so when you don't set, your boundary and saying, hey, yo, that's not cool, I don't like that, it can grow into something that could be even worse and grow and grow and grow. And so really, that's what it was really about. It's just about, and it goes both ways for men or women. It's just about, like, you have to set your boundaries because, like, it could be a guy that's tricking off some dough, right? Or it could be a woman that's doing the same thing, where she wants to keep this guy because he's he's giving good whatever, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, So
no, I think this movie it just caused me to have a lot of questions in terms of looking at the friends, because even though we are focused on Mike, we're looking at his friends. So his circle of influence, right? He's got, and I like how you have the friends being representative of, what do you call that? Like different mindsets. Right, like you've got the friend who's like, no, smack that hoe. And it's like, nah, really don't do that. In this day and age, that's not the way to work with it. But we all were thinking that too at some point in the movie. It had nothing to do with whether she was a chick or a dude. Right. It has to do with the fact that, how dare you, like, you being that disrespectful to this man? Like, I would smack you too. So you think like that, but then you hear the level-headed friend, the one who's telling them, like, you've got the one that's not the yes man, then you've got the one that's the well, none of his friends are the yes men, which is why I love that none of them exhibited that condoning the bullshit type of thing. And nobody was condoning it, but everybody had a different element of a different mindset to how to address it. Yeah. And I love that you show that in the different characters that they play, because it's like it's representing his thoughts in what direction should I go? This direction? Should I go that direction? Should I go, straight ahead or whatever? And you walk us through that journey. So now you're causing that person that may be in that situation or that may be dealing with some of those kind of things to think like, okay, because it's realistic. The other thing is with a movie being like this, you want it to be realistic as possible, because now we're looking at we're trying to make this seem like there's therapy involved and all that. So now you're telling me this is real elements. We're talking about real situations. So I'm expecting it to be real outcomes to the situations too, or the most common outcome to the situation. So I like that you didn't turn this into some damn fairy tale where it was like, oh, it's a super happy ending. Everybody's, he found love and it was really the girl who was looking at him from afar. It wasn't that kind of shit where it's like, oh, somehow this magical whatever. Right. It was like it ended on the fact that, now we know you should have enforced your boundaries, and that's where you fell off. And that was the end of the movie, as opposed to it being, some happy ending that was like more Hollywood driven than a real life situation. So I like how you did that.
Right. Thank you.
Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway.
Charles, giveaway. Charles, thank you very much.
Giveaway.
Thank you.
Now, would you say? Okay. Would you date a Mike?
No.
Type?
No. Okay, wait a minute. Let me. Because I want everybody to be like, well, each of only like Boosie types, the thug.
Because
he didn't have enough backbone. And this is the truth. A woman wants a man where she feels protective, that's able to tell her no when it's time to tell her no, but in a certain way. Not a no where I'm dogging you out and dragging you down the street, no. But, know how to communicate effectively. And Mike couldn't do that. And then at the end, would I have dated that version of Mike? Yeah. Because you're showing me that you got boundaries just like I have boundaries. Right. I don't like a yes man. I don't like a yes business partner. I don't like a yes coworker. Is there something about that I don't see it going nowhere or being stagnant? And it's going to end just like Mike and Taisha. Because one is going to always feel like they're pulling their more weight than the other. And that's what Taisha thought. But Taisha wanted the fuck buddy. Let's just be honest. That's why she left that boy. She didn't leave him. She had no valid reasons to walk out of that relationship.
But
she was the one causing the drama with the damn pickles. Come on, sis.
But here's the other thing I have with that. Just think about it from another sort of angle. Did she lose respect for him because of his lack of ambition, his lack of drive and all that? Because he also comes off as a dude that doesn't have a lot of drive, doesn't have a lot of ambition. But is that because he's worn out from the relationship, or is that his personality overall? Because the type of personality that he had when they were doing the intervention and everything with him, it came off like, well, bro, you don't have no kind of, like you said, no kind of backbone, but he also doesn't appear to have any kind of drive to, like, when you see the opening scene, it's like, even his fight was like, but even his fight was just like, you wasn't even really fighting like that. Like, it wasn't like, it also like, oh, you didn't fight.
It should have been like this. It should have been like this.
Oh, you want to get fucked up. You want to get...
That's what it's like.
But it just speaks to that kind of man. Like, okay, his mindset, was he already just not a driven dude, or was he once this big time dude where like he had that and then he lost it, and then she lost respect and started to like whatever.
He comes off like an average dude, and then we're gonna get into interviewing Mr. Abdul here in the second half because we're at our 30-minute mark.
Yeah,
and we want to find out more about him. But he comes off to me as an average man. He doesn't come off like I was once a baller. He's just the average black man that has went through some things, and you could tell he has went through some things. They always say by the company you keep or the women and the men you attract. So, and I'm speaking from experience. Okay. So with that, him not taking at the end, him taking accountability and really listening to what his friends had to say to me was superb. I was just excited to see brothers come together without vulgar language, without pushing him to do something stupid. Because the homeboys could have been like, man, now she couldn't did that. Let's go and fuck her up. Like, you know how we do. You know how many do.
The pushover could have been another pushover type of thing. Yeah,
that's why I thought this was going. He was gonna snap when I, and then
I didn't think about that.
I would think that's okay. Now Abdul done did all of this, and he's sitting here thinking about all the shit she done did, especially the fuck buddy saying, if you saw that boy face, I said, okay, Abdul fits to get to it. He fits to snap. This was be a Channel 4 report. Like, it's going down. And he didn't. He was just like, oh, maybe she wasn't the one. Oh. And when we accept, though, that sometimes we are not meant to be with each other, I think that's the greatest gift we can give each other as men and women. Instead of turning each other down, putting us in jail under false accusations, or causing a man to snap where he takes your life and maybe your kid's life too, because we don't know people mental, or letting her continue to tear you down and belittle you in front of your friends. Sometimes we just have to realize, you know what, you might be good for fuck buddy, but you're just not good for me. And and the thing about Abdul, the expression that fuck buddy gives her, like, I don't know if I'm gonna fuck with you after this. Like, you wild, girl. You know, men don't like to be put in situations like that. Sneaky links like to be sneaky. Links. Like,
they don't want to be known. So like,
when she took the phone from that boy and put her number in, I said, girl, if you was in Texas, you would have been.
When she said, oh, we're not doing nothing. We're not doing nothing until later. You can hang out with us until you.
I would have fucked
that
up.
Would have been it right there. What?
You just want to go across that tree. I would have. That'd have been the moment. I promise you, that'd have been the moment. Y'all would have been pulling me up off of her. Like, no, that's in front of his homeboys. Good. Just think how embarrassing that is.
Yeah.
This movie could have took so many different directions. I really don't know how Mike stayed in character. Because I'm telling you, even on the screen, I would have had an Ike Turner moment and be like, oh, you think I'm playing with you, anime? Like, I would have had a moment with Taisha. Tell her she did that because she got us. We don't like her.
She's really actually, it's Asia Antoinette. She's actually really a sweet person. So
I bet she is.
Yeah, it's the total opposite of who she really is as a person. But yeah, she did a great job executing.
And Mike probably a player.
Yeah,
the ones that play the role. I'm just saying, when you can make
you can't just say the opposite.
But when you can make a person believe what you're saying, and then you have a panel that comes in this documentary that say, "Oh, no, everybody said the same thing. Nobody said nothing different." I do like the black lady that she looked like a fashion model. She had like the little beret on. When she went into the psychology part of it, like, I wouldn't call him so much as a pushover, but A, B, C, and D, that gave it a different spin to the movie. So, and then he had, some of us in there sitting around the beauty salons, and I'm like, oh, shit. I should have just had her braiding her. It really would have popped. But I was like, okay, this is what is needed. Like Jay said, it's definitely a conversation piece. It's definitely a film that can be used for relationships, for young teens that's going into relationships with these so-called friends. It teaches you friendship. It teaches you boundaries. It teaches you growth. And I can't say healing, but the way it flipped at the end, something snapped with Mike. They say, you know what? Okay, I see what y'all saying. And I know that hurt him sitting there on that couch, having your boys that you, because men's pride is different than a woman's ego or whatever we have. But a man's pride is so fragile, you know, to sit there with your boys and your boys break down what your woman do. That's not a good feeling. That's not a good feeling.
For sure.
Mr. Abdul, without further ado, let's get into your background. Tell us a little about you.
All right. Well, my family, we're from Sierra Leone, which is West Africa. I was born. Yeah. That's what.
From where Musk from, right?
Who? Elon Musk?
I want to say his whole name.
He's from South Africa. I'm from West Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will click you on off.
Yeah. Nah. No Teslas here. No Teslas here. But now, so I was born in London, England, and then I came to the United States like when I was like 2.5 years old. And so I've been in Maryland like the majority of my life. I just moved to Cali a year and a half ago. I moved out here in 2023, you know, and it's to pursue my, you know, my filmmaking career. So that's the reason why I moved out here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
Africa to London, London to Maryland, Maryland to Cali.
Yeah. And
what made you write though? What the movie thing? How did this?
Oh yeah. Well, in terms of writing, I've always written since I was like young, but it was just more so like when you're you know, in, you know, junior high and things of that sort, you're rapping, and then when you're rapping, you're like writing stories and stuff like that, and you have concepts and stuff like that, and that's where it really started from. And then from there, I believe when I was like in 12th grade, I had a English teacher, and then at that time I was like a class clown. I was always disruptive in the class. And we had a essay that we had to write. It was like a 6-page essay or something, and I wasn't doing very well in the class. And then you could write a story about whatever you wanted to write a story on. And so I wrote a story, and the teacher, she saw it, she really liked it, and she was really surprised actually. And then she said she wanted to enter in a writing contest. And so that's what like sparked it for me in terms of like, okay, I might have something, but I never really thought about it. I was just like, I'm gonna be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I never really thought about it.
Everybody want to be a rapper.
Lord. Yeah, but you know, this is like a long time ago. This is like, you know, this is a very long time ago. So
hate itself. Like it's a really long time ago.
So yeah.
Because back then rap was really rap. It was like storytelling. When you listen to
storytelling, absolutely.
You listen to E40 and you listen to Tupac, your imagination would go with the lyrics. Now everybody sound the same. I don't understand half the words my little boy be around here playing, and little baby, D baby, dub baby, dub. Okay. So the rapper turned into a movie writer.
Right. Yeah. You know, and then I did some producing for someone. I actually produced some music for a while. I had a couple of projects out that I had put out. Okay. And so, but how I got into like I say directing and writing was like the music videos that we would do, like my partner Darren and I would do. I would write the treatments for them, and so we would co-direct those music videos. So like we'll have artists that would you know, they have their songs, whatever the case may be, but they would be performing to the tracks that I made. And so I'll write I'll have like a storyline. I'm like, all right, we should do this, do that. We should shoot it here, shoot it there. And that's how I got, I guess, into like directing. And now we're talking about like, you know, 07, 08, you know what I'm saying? So like that's where I think it permeated from. I mean, not permeated, but that's the genesis of like me.
He using the big words, y'all. He using the big words.
I knew you was gonna say something about it. I
was waiting on them to get it out. Big word, big word. But anybody famous that did your music? Anybody we know?
I mean, I have a couple tracks with Dave East.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I had this project. It was called the A Special, and yeah, he had 2 tracks on it. I mean, you can find it on Bandcamp. Just look up the A Special. It's like the A Special on Bandcamp, and you'll see like there's a couple tracks that Dave East is on. I mean, I had some people that were on a cusp of blowing up, but never quite blew up. Like people like I like a person named Adversary. He was on like the what was it, like freestyle? You know, when they had the freestyle competitions on 106 in Park and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
And he made to the championship rounds and all that stuff. He did really well on that. And I had other people like Muggsy Malone that's been on the Hip Hop Honors, VH1 Hip Hop Honors. So I had a bunch of people that were doing stuff. Not everybody quite broke through. I think the only person that really broke through was Dave East to a certain extent. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Why the pushover? And then J. Marie, you can have it. Why this movie at this particular time in 24? Why? Because it's much needed. I'm not questioning it. Mm-hmm. It's just really funny how it dropped at a time where the world and the reason I say that because our platform deals with relationships and trying to blend the gap and mend the gap between the Black man and the Black woman. Mm-hmm. So your movie like hits everything that we stand on and what we promote on our other shows and stuff. And I was just wondering, like, why now? When you could have wrote anything else, or you could have twisted this into anything else.
A thriller. Why that format? It could have been a thriller. Yeah.
Why that format? Why documentary?
All right. Oh yeah, no worries. All right. So in terms of how, so I wrote the pushover like in 2011. So I wrote that a long time ago. Like I had to. So this is what happened. I wanted to see if I could actually write a script, right? So I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can write a script. So it was just initially it was just a short. That's what it was. It was a short. And so probably like around 2014, I had told my partner Darren, I was like, hey man, you know what? I would like to shoot this. Let's just see if we could just shoot it. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, yeah, I bet, let's do it. So like it took about probably like 2015, we actually started shooting. At that time we were shooting on like DSLRs and everything. And we basically, we had our co-workers come, friends and all that other stuff. And like, hey, we just want you to play this role. You play this role. You play that role. And basically, it was a disaster. I mean, that's what it was. Okay. It was a disaster. And don't get me wrong, like all those people that helped, they were good people and they're my peoples, but they weren't actors. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm a firm believer in work with what you have, right? So like don't use that as an excuse not to move forward, right? So just start where you are and make things happen. If you don't have resources, be resourceful. So that's my approach, right? So that's what we did. But you have people, coming an hour late, 2 hours late,
So you had to do this right here.
Hey, come here. Look at me. Hey, look at me. What'd I say? No. Come here. Look at me. Hey, look at me. No. Come here. Look at me. Hey, what?
Yeah.
That's the perfect response. That's the perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had that, and then but everybody they tried. Put the best foot forward.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what happened. We
scrapped it.
Yeah, we scrapped it, right?
Yeah.
My man Darren was just like, yo, this ain't it. And me, I was just like,
you want somebody to say that too. You don't want them to be like, yeah, put this shit out. This goes. And it goes.
Yeah, but he's like, this ain't it, because people stopped showing up, and then, wow. So it was just one of those things where we had to scrap it. And so for me, what we did was like, I just started writing some shorts. I wrote like a short called A Good Night's Rest, and then we shot that, and then we shot It Could Be You. And after we shot It Could Be You, and both of these films were in the film festival circuit where they won like several awards, like best actor, best actor, cinematographer, director, best movie. Like it won a lot of awards, and that gave us like not the courage, but the confidence to say, all right,
and
yo,
motivation.
the motivation to go right back to the pushover. And so, yeah, and mind you, we shot those shorts like in 2020. So it was a good gap, you know, it was
During
a good,
the,
you know, good gap, about 5-6 years. And then and mind you, even before I even got to the point where we were shooting, I was getting on sets, you know what I'm saying? So I was getting on SAG, on sets for SAG, you know, it's like full features and stuff like that. So I would get on those sets and learn like anything I could. And so I'd do anything from being a PA to help gripping electric, whatever it took, you know, help on camera, whatever it took for me just to learn as much as I could. And I would just help other people on the different projects. And so that's when we came and started shooting the shorts, because by that time I had acquired some knowledge, because when we were shooting initially, we didn't know what we were doing, and you know, it just didn't look right. You know what I'm saying? And so so we just had to acquire knowledge, you know what I'm saying, experiences, everything. And then we took all that and we put it into the pushover. But now where we are now, though, we're leaps and bounds like ahead of where it is at the pushover. Like I'm leaps and bounds ahead of that now, as far as thought process, as far as writing. Even like, you know, what we're shooting right now currently is like it's leaps and bounds ahead of even the pushover right now, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Would you with this movie and how you filmed it, one of the things we touched on in an interview a while back, when we talked about the movie before it came out, was your approach to the cinematography of it, the storyline, like the quality of the production, really what I'm getting at. It doesn't give low budget. It doesn't give any of those things that we would think that Tubi movies would say, you know, typically have, because of the budget. Because I wanted you to talk about that, because you talked about what it takes to make a movie in terms of the quality of the production. Can you give us some understanding about what it takes to make a movie like this and the budget behind it and all that?
Okay, yeah. Well, in terms of like putting a movie like this together, you really have to galvanize a team of people that know what they're doing. And and the thing about it is, you just have to make sure you're very careful on who you choose to do what, whether it's sound, whether it's lighting, script supervisor, you know, your grip, gaffer, you know, whatever that may be. You have to be careful on who you have on set with you, and you got to be able to trust everyone completely. So when we did this, I mean, we had a great team in terms of people willing to help and everything. But what I would say is that the things that I'm doing differently is in terms of like where I am now is it's still a scenario where you still have to get people that specialize in these particular departments, because as a filmmaker, their job is, when you have your crew, is to help bring your vision to life, right? So you need specialists, people, not your buddies, not your friends. And again, you know, the pushover turned out fine, but let's just say I had like specialists, somebody that was like, all right, yo, I do this for 10 years. Or 5-10 years, and I've been gaffing, you know, as far as like lighting, you know what I'm saying? Or someone who's on sound and they've been doing it for 10 years. And, you know, like it's all these different pieces to the puzzle that help you make a complete film. And then the way that you have in your head, it actually happens that way, you know. But again, that you grow. So it's just like you work with what you have, you know. And if those people didn't come and help me, then I wouldn't have the pushover. So I'm forever grateful for everyone that came out and helped, you know. But
even the mess up before you had to come back to it, because had you not had that, botched ass, you know, situation,
it was terrible.
It wouldn't have pushed you. It wouldn't have pushed you to this one. No pun intended on that. But then you bring up a good point, because now you said you're leaps and bounds ahead of it in terms of the production now. So what would you do differently now in a movie that you've done?
Yeah, now. I mean, what I would do is, to be honest, like, I mean, I'm already doing it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm finding people that specialize in each department, and so, and then also, like I said, I wrote. You gotta think, right? All right, the pushover. When I wrote it, I wrote it 14 years ago, right? So like, it's you know what it's like. All right, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I don't know if you ladies watch sports or not at all. Do y'all? At all?
I do sport, but
okay. But I'm gonna give you an analogy. I'm gonna just give you an analogy. All right.
Don't talk about the Cowboys, and you good.
Okay, no. It's not even a bad mouth. I'm not bad mouthing any team or any particular person, right? So it's like
she ready to go. You ready to go? Y'all ain't went nowhere else anyway.
Y'all didn't either.
So okay,
we got further.
Okay, so like, so there's like this is a basketball player, right? And he plays basketball, and he has an okay season. This is like his third year in the league. He had an okay season, right? And then there's the off season. So that's the off season is when you practice, is when you get better and everything, right? And then when he comes in on his fourth season, he becomes an all-star. He plays. His skill got so much better. He's got so more advanced that he becomes an all-star. Now all of a sudden he doubles the amount of points. Instead of scoring 10 points a game, scoring like 20 points a game or 22 points a game. You know, and it's like, how did he get better? Like, what's the difference? Well, it's the same thing with like what we're doing. Like when I'm writing, right? I wrote this back in 2011. Like, there's no way, just because you haven't seen anything, the only thing you've seen is the pushover, but I wrote that 14 years ago. So imagine how much work I've done since then. So when you see my next project, you would be like, oh, okay, this is where he's at, because he's been working in the off season. You know, I've been reading the books.
But there are some people that don't work in the off season.
Yeah.
And they still be off with their seasoning.
No, you're absolutely right. But the analogy or the correlation between what I'm saying is just that I put in the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm shooting the extra baskets. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of times filmmakers kind of get in their bag, and then they think that, oh, this is my style, I'm gonna keep it this way. Instead of trying to learn a new way to do it, or a better way, or an alternative, like try something different.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I know what you're saying, like where they feel like they've already arrived and stuff. Yeah. So like for me, like I literally write every day. I write every day, right? Even if I'm tired, it could be like 12 o'clock at night, you know, and I was like, all right, well, let me write something. It could be just a paragraph. Let me just write something before I go to sleep. And in terms of like, as far as knowledge, you know, I'm always reading. Like I'm consistently reading, and that's what I do. You know, I read, I network, I listen to, you know, like master class where I get information from people who's already done it. You know, and that's what I do. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly evolving, because, you know, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So that's
it should be. That's what
man.
People don't think like that though.
Yeah. So that's where I am. Yeah. But as far as financing, though, to answer your question initially,
on the financing part,
yeah. So everything that I've done thus far, I financed myself. You know, and so, you know, I just work a 9 to 5, put money up. You know, put money away, you know, save it. And I was like, okay, this is my budget for this particular film. And that's what, and I keep everything within the confines of that budget. Also, another thing that's helped me as well is because I've helped other people on their projects, I was able to have people help me on my project. So there's some people, so I didn't have to pay everyone, you know. Some people I did have to pay, but some people I didn't have to pay, you know. And most of the people that I didn't have to pay is because they either just really rock with me, you know what I'm saying, or it's because I just helped them on their project, you know. So So that's how I funded it. But you still got to feed people. You still got to pay for locations.
Oh, we know.
You know what I'm saying?
We
All that,
working
you know what I'm saying?
And we in the budgeting. So that's cool that you don't, because I know most of the film directors here, they use a agency or a group called Maverick.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
yeah, and I've been hearing all the bad stuff about them when it comes to funding Black films, and they actually been trying to get Black filmmakers to not use that group because they require like a lot of sex scenes, they require a lot of violence.
Right.
We worked actually J. Marie was UPM and I was location manager for one day. So we seen the budget and what they pay and how they pay it. So that's really dope that you have people to pour into you like that, because that stuff gets expensive. It
absolutely does. And then I want to say, going forward, when you say you're getting specialized people for these roles, now you're saying you opened up your budget now to afford them, or are you still getting people who've done stuff like in collateral?
Yeah, well, it's a combination of both, right? It's still the same thing because out here, it's expensive out here, right? So
I bet. I bet.
I'm telling you, like, my bills have like almost damn near triple, you know what I'm saying? To be honest,
down here too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like, so it's a combination of both, right? But I still have the philosophy, like, how can I help you? Because like, I have equipment myself, you know what I'm saying? So I have a red, I have lighting equipment,
and that, to your point, is good to have your own equipment.
Yeah.
Because then you just need people that can work it.
Right.
And that's the other thing. So that's a good. It's not necessarily cost saving because you still got to get the equipment, but if you have it, that's one less thing to worry about.
Exactly. And so, like, I do things such as like volunteer, like my time and some of my resources to help people with their projects, and hopefully they reciprocate. I mean, just because you do it doesn't necessarily mean that person will reciprocate, but I believe that you put good energy out there, it'll come back some way, shape, or form, or something. So I don't really sweat it. I just look at, like, every time I'm doing something for somebody, I just look at it as like, you're blessing someone, and by you blessing someone, when you blessing someone, you are doing your job as a human being. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at it. So, like, it comes back either way, because I look at it like, even if this person's not going to do something for me, I also look at it like, well, who can I network with on set? You know what I'm saying? So, like, you gotta
think
look
about
at it like,
all of the branches.
Like, I can still meet somebody, or somebody can see me working on set and they're like, yo, I like this guy, he has good energy, he's a hard worker, let me bring him on my project. So it's like, even when you're helping somebody, you're still helping yourself in a sense, so that's how.
If we get that mind concept down here, I think Dallas would be we got some real dope talented people down here, but we're seeing a lot of the riffs and the fighting down here, and it's sad, especially when you had that much talent to offer. So I know we are approaching an hour with you, and we don't want to prolong you. What is the next project for Mr. Abdul?
Can we know? Yeah, can we know? Can we get a teaser? Okay.
So actually, my next project is called The Swap, and it's I know I need to say the log line better. Like, I actually have it written down.
Yeah, because he's probably tricking us again, y'all.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The swap. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but the swap is just, it's just basically about two unhappily married men that meet at a bar, and they strike up a conversation, and once they get deeper in the conversation, they realize that their wives are actually perfect for the other person. And so they hatch up a scheme to swap wives without their wives knowing. So that's really what that's about. And so people gonna be like, how does that happen?
What?
So it's just
what?
So no, it's crazy, right? So and that's what I'm saying. Like it's all about the writing, right? So if you have a concept in your head and then you say, okay, how can I execute this? How can I make this make sense? And so when you see it, it does make sense. And so what we did, what we have already done is we shot a short to the full feature as a proof of concept. And then we're also working on a sizzle reel as well. So we'll have two forms.
A what?
A sizzle reel. So sizzle reel is basically it's kind of like a trailer. Let's call it like a pre-trailer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like a trailer is like, of course, you've already made the movie and you are like, this is what the movie's about, right?
Oh.
But a sizzle reel is like, this is what the movie's about before you make the movie. You see what I'm saying? So
no.
Okay,
I understand the concept though. That's pretty dope.
Okay, so
it's like looking at it to make sure, like, hey, is this something we need to proceed with, or do we need to come back to the writing table? I see that because I'm a visual person.
Is it like a proof of concept, but for the public to see?
Yes and no. It's like for investors, all of that, right? So I can give you. Okay, have you ever seen the trailer before it came out? Before it got picked up by Peacock, have you ever seen a trailer for Bel Air?
No.
Okay.
I haven't seen the original trailer. No.
Okay, so the original, unfortunately, the people that were in the original, it's not in the trailer. It's called a sizzle reel, actually. The original sizzle reel for that, it had a whole different cast and everything. But what happened was that project, it's like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It had like, it pretty much shows you what we see now on Peacock, right? But it went viral and Will Smith saw it. And Will Smith was like, yo, I want to do this. And so the person that's behind it, his name is Morgan Cooper. He's out of Kansas City. He's the one. After that, he got signed by CAA, I believe. And then from there, that's how they got the film done, you know. And so I'm not saying that because we do this sizzle reel, we're gonna put it on YouTube, it's gonna go viral and all that stuff. All I'm saying is that we're going to use this just as a means of a proof of concept for investors, whatever the case may be. A pitch deck, but a video pitch deck type of thing.
We may have to. You know what? Abdul, hold on. We're gonna have to get into another show with this because I'm getting way too, and I see it now. We're gonna have to get into a filmmaking. You know, I already talked to you about the nonprofit, but we're gonna get into a filmmaking conversation because we're gonna run this one up a whole nother hour, and we can't. Okay.
But just so you can get what I'm saying, J. Marie, it's basically like I said, it's just imagine having a trailer for a movie before you shot the movie. So you didn't shoot the movie yet, but it's showing you what the movie would look like.
You have to school me on that because that is something I've never heard for real.
Okay.
Never heard it.
I never heard that done.
Yeah.
I never.
That's cool. That's a cool concept.
That's why he's gonna be teaching. That's why he's gonna be
time-saving concept because you can go back to the writing board again if you see something, or like he said, the cast, you want to redo the cast because they don't fit the vision at that point. You had that time to do that versus the trailer already out, the movie done, and it's just what it is. It's there. Right. So I get that. We have pushed our hour and something with Mr. Abdul. I have had so much fun. I'm like, J. Marie, we could talk all night.
I'm nerd now. I know I'm nerd now. That's why I'm like, let me
you can nerd out by yourself because I'm finna go up here and go eat. I appreciate you coming on with me and J. Marie on this segment. We do have 8, 9 segments. Shout outs to the QOC team.
Shows. She call them segments.
Okay, let me stop saying segments. Lord Jesus. Shows with various things from We got a killer that do horror. So if you ever do some horror, then you got a spot on QOC to come out and broadcast it. And we just thank you for taking the time out to come and talk to us. And I'm just before Jamie Marie say her words, the only thing I want you to leave us with is, if you could tell anybody that's starting out in this industry or what wants to get into this industry, realistically, what does it take? What would your advice be to a person that's really, really wanting to come into this industry? We've seen it, and it's cutthroat down here. So I just want to see what you would give the audience. Jay Marie, go ahead, and then let Abdul wrap it up for us. And you guys, we will see you Saturday for In the Mix at 1:30. Man, y'all not gonna want to miss that stuff with Jay Marie, Prime, and Brandon also giving y'all the trending topics. Everything from Tyler Perry's speech at Angie's funeral to Yellow Bee's arrest to Little Ronnie and his 5-year-old daughter that was killed at the car wash down here. They touched all the trending topics. Y'all not gonna want to miss that. And then come back Sunday to all my church going folks. Y'all not gonna want to miss this. Quinn Simon comes on and he interviews Miss Marcy. He's my cousin, real blood cousin, but he's a national award gospel artist out of Houston. So y'all not gonna want to miss that interview and music that he'll be providing on Sunday. So we got something for everybody. Tonight, Quickies just aired. What is the name of that title that aired tonight, Jay Marie?
My friend wants my life or something like that.
See how I put on blast. That's her saying. Yeah, black and eat black.
Look like
go out there and check. That's for the grown and mature audience. And then of course, we got the rest of the linemen coming. That's on Wednesday. So y'all, we got something for everybody. This would not be the last time you see Mr. Abdul, because as he get updates, then we will keep you guys updated. I like when the conversations can flow and I don't really have to work. So this has been a good interview for me. Jay Marie, do your spiel, and then Mr. Abdul, take us out.
Okay, so just make sure you like, follow, and subscribe at QOC Network. Be sure to follow all the hosts and tune in and support us. We are trying to monetize our network on the YouTube side. So definitely be sure to give us your likes, follow, subscribes, and tell everybody all about us. Now, Abdul, make sure you let us know where everybody can find you or support the pushover too, because I wanted to make sure we said that before you get into your answer with your advice to somebody trying to get into the industry.
And before he talks, shout out to Conrad, because I do not want to.
Yes.
That is our
the
Real podcast that is now part of QOC all the way in Canada. So we have definitely went global with this, you guys. So I'm so humble. Abdul,
we across the water. Let me leave it alone. Okay,
we were there.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So thank you, Egypt. Thank you, Jay Marie. I appreciate this. So where you can find me on Instagram, it's Salone Pro, but it's spelled SA_LOAN Pro. So like a loan, like underscore.
Oh, it's on his shirt, you guys.
Pro. Yeah, there we go. Right. You'll see this logo right here. Yeah. And then and you also can find me on Instagram on The Pushover, at The Pushover. And then in terms of you could go to my website as Salone Pro. There's no hyphen for that. SalonePro.com. Also, I also have SaloneFilms.com.
So you do a lot of everything. Some of everything.
Right. Yeah. SaloneFilms.com, and it's still spelled the same way. No underscore, nothing, just SALOAN films. And then in terms of what I would suggest for someone who is getting into the industry, I would just say it's a couple of things. Be persistent, right? Persistence beats resistance. I'm a firm believer in that. There's a lot of people that will tell you well, these are the odds and that's the odd of this, it's the odd of that. But if you start looking at the odds, it could start being a disheartening thing. And so me personally, I don't ever look at the odds. I mean, because everyone that you're seeing on the TV had those same odds and they made it. Everyone they seen it in the theater, you know, on a movie screen had those same odds, right? So and they didn't let that deter them. So you shouldn't let them. The people that are telling you about the odds and everything are the same people who are probably going to be watching you. You know what I'm saying? And watching your work. You know, because they didn't believe enough in themselves to make it happen, right? And then another thing I would say is that you should always evolve, meaning that you should always learn, always try to get better. Not even try, always work on getting better, getting smarter, and then treat people kindly, respect people. You know, like how, you know, like they say, treat others as how you would like to be treated. And so once you start, you show people respect, you know, and you give respect, and you're a person of your word. It goes a long way, because at the end of the day, it's about relationships. You know, like people want to work with people that they like. You have to be good, but I'd rather work with somebody that's good. I mean, that's a good person and knows what they're doing versus someone who's a jerk and knows what they're doing, you know? Yeah. So you may know a little bit more, but you're a jerk, so I don't want to work with you. So it's about that. So it's about, you know, again, persistence. It's about belief in yourself, and it's also about relationships and evolving as far as like growing and learning.
And y'all heard it from Mr. Sesay out of Cali, y'all. The Pushover. It is on Tubi for free, you guys. And I'm quite sure it's on some more platforms as well. But I did catch it on Tubi. And it was a great, well done conversation starter, relationship, all of that documentary. And I kept telling Jamie Marie documentary, she was like, no, rom-com. And I'm like, nah, sis, that's not what that is. But we disagreed to agree to get the director on here to explain it, and there you have it. So catch it. The Pushover is there, and we love y'all, and we'll see y'all next month. Couple of weeks. It's from. You'll see us somewhere. Yeah,
right.
We are the kings and queens, stepping clean as a whistle when we be on the scene. Been adjusting our crown. Can you see what we mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We are the kings and queens, stepping clean as a whistle when we be on the scene. Been adjusting our crown. Can you see what we mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm really trying to be there for my people. Unified, be there for the sequel. You and I speak, I hope I reach you. We the vibe, QOC gon' teach you. My peoples, are you with me? Where you at? So much going on in the world, we just have to face the facts. I've been making marks in the world, so you know I can't relax. Gotta get it, got it till it's good, then be able to run it back. Hold up, we are the kings and queens, stepping clean as a whistle when we be on the scene. Been adjusting our crown, can you see what we mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We are the kings and queens, stepping clean as a whistle when we be on the scene. Been adjusting our crown, can you see what we mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.